welcome to Spooky South Coast. Tim Weisberg here, along with Stephanie Burke, the silent assassin, Matt Costa, and science advisor, Matt Moniz. We are back after missing last week's episode due to a Legend Trips event. And what an event it was. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. But it was definitely a unique night at a place where there wasn't a lot of history going in. There was not a lot of paranormal reports coming out of it, but we went anyway, and we had a phenomenal time. Was that... Did you just shift that camera?
What's up?
The shot of me is moving.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, all right. I got a little creeped out there. I'm like, huh, already? We're already having things happen.
I forgot there was a delay.
Yeah, I thought. I was like, what is going on?
I can't remember what I did 30 seconds ago.
That's bad. I'm just the same way. What was I talking about? Right. We are broadcasting live on WBSM as well as on Spooky TV at SpookySouthCoast.com. We have the fancy cameras all set up. So if you want to see what's going on in the studio while we are putting on this program for you, just go to SpookySouthCoast.com or WBSM.com and you'll be able to see the live video stream. And you can listen to the show that way. Sometimes people have a little problem with the audio, having their computer run the audio and the video, so you can always listen to the WBSM stream directly on our site as well. And, of course, the chat room is also new and improved as well. We've been trying out some different chat software, Matt Costa, but it looks like we got something that's going to work there.
I think it looks like it's going to work, and we tested it out last week, and it seemed all right. So
if you are listening right now, get to Spooky TV at SpookySouthCoast.com, log in there to the chat room, and you'll be able to interact with us. And you can log in, via Twitter, or you can make an account as well?
I think you can make an account, or you can use your Twitter account, or Twitter handle, as the kids say.
I'm using my Twitter handle, so you'll see me there at Tim Weisberg. And I'll try and monitor that, because that's the whole reason why we've been messing around with this chat software, is we want to be able to monitor what we're seeing in the studio. So that's, you guys need a boost up over there?
I can hear you better now.
Okay, I just boosted it up a little, Matt, so just watch the audio levels. So the idea being that, people are interacting on the chat room all the time, and we're not seeing it because our firewalls here in the studio block pretty much everything. So we had to find something that would work. So Matt tirelessly searched until he found something that would do the job, and we think that we finally have it. So we can interact with you. Please take advantage of it. Don't make all of Matt's efforts be for naught.
I Googled all day.
He's like, oh. You know how many different things we've tried, though, over the years? Oh, my gosh. I can remember when we first started trying to do the interactive portion of the program, and it was a disaster. Everything we tried to do. Yeah, the showcast was terrible. Remember when we tried to have, live chat through the message board? Where people could post messages on the message board during the show. That didn't work out so well either. So technology is our friend. We're not always nice to our friends, so here on the program. Speaking of our friends, Stephanie, you missed last week at the Murdoch Whitney house.
I'm sad.
And you had other commitments.
I did.
But you missed a heck of a night. And there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of personal experiences. We're getting some evidence rolling in as well. So we're going to play a little bit of that maybe later on in the show.
Well, I can't wait to hear it because I saw all the comments on Facebook and everybody was really excited when they got home.
We may have to go a little bit late tonight just to try and notch that. And I won't keep you guys late if you have to leave, but we may have to go a little bit late just so we can get that stuff into the program, because there were some pretty unique experiences that we'll want to talk about. And if you would like to join us on a Legend Trips event, our next event is coming up August 30th, and it will be at Edaville, USA in Carver, Massachusetts. We only have about 25 tickets left.
That's awesome. I can't wait for that one.
They are going to go quick because people are trying to not just get in there for the investigation, they just want to get in there after hours and see what it's like in Edaville.
Yeah, because everybody went as a child. What you remember is during the Christmas season, you go down, you ride the train, and it was a huge deal no matter what was there, and then they added on to it for so many years now. So.
And now they have Dino Land?
Yes.
So you can see life-size dinosaurs? Well, I guess
Thomas the Train, too, right?
Completely life-size. They're working on that, yes. There's so much construction going on around Edaville that I just know that they're going to be scaring some stuff up for us. And the fact that we can get into the suicide house is huge.
Yes.
Now, the rumor going around is that house is not going to last. They're tearing the house down.
Okay.
Like, not tearing the house down like, when we go somewhere, we just tear the house down. They're literally tearing it down. And so this might be the only chance anybody ever gets to investigate that house where there is one confirmed suicide and where a medium who visited there was able to make contact with 3 different spirits that lived in the house repeatedly. Like, it wasn't like a one-time visit. The person who lived there had a friend who was a medium and would go and visit frequently. And so it was repeated experiences every single time she went.
Very interesting.
So that's going to be, I don't know, I'm just excited to get in there after hours. And
It's going to be really cool.
But again, only 25 tickets left. We do have a room deal in place. We'll be making that announcement early next week. Actually, everything's all set. I can tell you this much. You're going to be paying, I believe, $99 for the room. And the rooms, keep in mind, this is Labor Day weekend. So the rooms are normally $139. So we're getting $40 off the price of the rooms for everybody.
It's a great deal.
You want to take advantage of that for sure. And the hotel where we're going, I don't want to give away the details because then everybody's going to start calling and trying to get the deal ahead of time. But it's only about 10 miles away from Edaville. So if you are concerned about making it home and you want a place to crash, you can go there. There is free breakfast, so you'll be able to meet up with everybody the next morning and talk about what went on. I always threaten to show up at the hotel anyway. Even though Edaville is 5 minutes from my house, I always threaten to show up at the hotel anyway and then pretend like I'm sleeping there so that I can have the free continental breakfast.
There you go.
I was there the other day. They have a waffle maker. So
That's pretty fancy.
homemade fresh waffles in the morning, Matt? You want to?
Right. Sounds great. Sounds like a blast.
He's like, no,
Is
not
somebody
after
else
last
going to
week.
make them?
No, you have to make them yourself. You just pour the batter into it.
Oh. I guess that's...
He pretty much says no way after last week. Would you pretty much just go home and change your shirt and come right back to work?
Pretty much.
Or did you even not change your
I
shirt?
got like an hour and a half sleep. It's pretty good.
Well, that counts for something, right?
Not bad.
I don't even know, what was it, like 4:30 when we got home, when we got back to Wareham?
Yeah, 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah. I just remember
It was a good ride.
it was like 24 straight hours awake for me. It took me days to recover. But it was worth it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. Coming up in just a bit, we'll be joined by our guest, Nicole Stevens. She will be joining us to talk about her work as a spirit medium, as well as how she uses her abilities to help people deal with grief. We'll also do a little bit of a Week in Weird, but right now it looks like we have a call that's been patiently waiting on the line. So we'll see where this goes. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast. How are you?
Hey, good. I'm just waiting for Nicole.
Oh, okay. Well, then we will put you back on hold. Did you have a question to ask her? Or?
No, she knows I'm calling.
Okay. Well, then
I know who it is.
we will keep you on hold then.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I hope I do this right. Yep, you're on hold.
So, to be clear, we are not doing readings on air.
Right, yes. There will be no readings tonight. It's going to be just a discussion. And you know how we do things here. You've gone through
Right.
the medium
Yes.
psychic process of being on the show.
Absolutely, but
The first time we want to get to know you.
right. So, for all the callers out there, just so they know, because otherwise we're going to get flooded with about, 10 calls at once and people still waiting to call in.
See,
so.
you've been here for that aspect of things, but you've been here on that side of the table.
I know. It gets
so to
crazy.
speak. And so but being on this side, the first time that we have somebody here that's doing readings, you're just gonna like kick back with your.
It's gonna be like so easy.
Because all we do is
not
just
me.
we just press the buttons and
Yep.
let them go, and we don't even have to do anything.
Yep.
I'll say good evening on Spooky South Coast, and then that's it. That's all I have to do. So those are the shows that you can tell that we were up till 5 o'clock in the morning doing a Legend Trips event or something the night before. And for those who missed the event and didn't hear the big announcement, we are working on our first ever out of New England Legend Trips event. It'll be sometime next year. We are looking at a number of different locations. We took a vote. It seemed like the Stanley Hotel in Colorado was the overwhelming favorite. We are going to work on that and see if we can make it happen. And if we can, we will have all the details for you coming up soon. All right, why don't we try and get a little weird real quickly, because I know you had a few stories.
A little weird.
Well,
It's never a little weird when we're here.
a little weirder for us. I mean, we're already weird enough, but sometimes we have to tone down the weirdness for the normal folks. Let me see if I can find... Oh, here we are. We're still in the computer. We haven't been removed yet.
More bad news. Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff. I feel so very weird.
The Week in Weird.
First up, we have Sean O'Connor, who was struck by lightning. He was lucky enough to be wearing his steel-toed boots when he recently was struck by lightning, which knocked him literally right out of his boots. Initially, O'Connor wasn't sure what happened, but after seeing his smoking shoes, he realized he had just survived a lightning strike. When I noticed my shoes were on the other side of the driveway and I heard the thunder, I realized it was lightning that had just hit me, O'Connor told ABC News. At first, the emergency room doctors didn't believe me, but then I showed them the singed hair on my legs and the boots they all wanted to shake his hand. They said they never met anyone who lived after getting struck by lightning. An electrocardiogram scan later revealed that O'Connor had irregular heart rate, a condition associated with injuries from lightning strikes. Doctors reportedly had held him overnight for observation, but allowed O'Connor to return home the next day. No, thank you. I would not want to be struck by lightning.
You know, Matt, I think you might have had it too. In high school, there was a teacher who had been struck by lightning 6 times.
6 times?
6 times. If I had been struck by lightning twice, I would stop going outside if it was even overcast.
I think the guy that has the world record is a ranger.
Are you more apt to after you get struck by lightning?
don't know.
No,
Did I hear that? I don't know if that's true.
kind of the old wives' tale, but Moniz, there's no scientific reasoning why it'd be any more likely.
No, it's just proximity to where it's going to be. I mean, the guy that holds the record is a park ranger that works up in, I think, the Rocky Mountains. So he's up in high elevation, and storms roll through all the time. I think he was struck like a total of 9 times, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, Miss Baltola is closing in on his record.
All right, well, next we have a story out of Corbin, Kentucky. The man that was arrested and had pizzas delivered to the police station.
Well, that's a smart guy.
Yes. Police in southern Kentucky say they got a surprise delivery after charging a man with shoplifting. 5 pizzas showed up at the station. Officers say 29-year-old Michael Harp asked to make a phone call on his cell phone Tuesday afternoon while being booked in Corbin. A short time later, police say a delivery pizza guy showed up to deliver to Officer Wilson, the name of the officer who had arrested Harp. Police say they linked the call to Harp by tracking his cell phone number. Harp told Lexington radio station, "It's all a misunderstanding and that about 10 people had used his phone while he was in there." Harp now faces additional charges, including theft of identity, theft by deception, and impersonating a police officer. Jail records did not list an attorney for him.
I would have ordered a pizza with a file in it.
Yes.
But I would have got like a pizza and there would be like a flash drive in the middle.
Yeah. Here's the file. It's just our menu.
I think you're one phone call out of jail and you call a pizza delivery guy and pretend to be a police officer.
Well, I mean, I've never been in jail.
I haven't either, but
Man, this cold is killing me. But I would have to think that, even the worst pizza place has got to be better than what you're getting.
he didn't get to eat it. He pretended to be a police officer and had it delivered to them.
But I mean, maybe that was his actual plan.
He's just trying to kiss up, that's all.
Maybe he figured that if they show up with a pizza, they'll share a little bit with him.
I don't know. I don't think he's very smart.
Here you go, Mickey. 1 foot long. No? Okay.
If only they delivered donuts. That would have
he would have been all set. He would have just walked right out the door.
Maybe.
You know, a lot of police officers listen to this show,
Oh.
and we're making donut jokes about them. So be prepared to get pulled over on the way home.
I think I'll be fine.
You'll be all set. The rest of us have to worry.
Last up, we have a story out of Florida. A cat heading back home.
Oh, that's it. That's all you have to say right there.
Right there?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're new to the Week in Weird.
I am.
Like 95% of the weird stories out there come from Florida.
I would assume like California.
No, Florida. Florida has the weirdest people ever.
That's awesome. All right, well, this is not a people story.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
Kinda, sorta. A cat heading back home after spending time in quarantine following an attack on its Central Florida owners that prompted a 911 call. Police say the Russian blue cat, named Kush, that's problem number 1, went berserk inside a Florida home July 5th, scratching owners Teresa and James Gregory on their arms and legs. The couple retreated to a bedroom and called 911. Kush was taken to an animal shelter for 10 days. The Daytona News Journal reports that Cush was well behaved during the quarantine. The animal control officer says that the Gregorys had been leaning toward giving the cat up but changed their mind. She says the cat will go to a veterinarian for vaccinations and then be spayed before going home. Authorities say that the cat was apparently well behaved before the attack. So, you call 911 on your cat and you take it back home later on.
That must be awkward when you I'm just imagining, if the cat had answered the door with a cell phone like those people in Wareham. The cat's oh, you can't come in here! Oh, you just slapped my mother! Sorry, I don't know. We shouldn't make jokes about that. We're gonna.
No, that's.
Last time I made jokes about that, I got into a lot of trouble.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Callers were calling up and blasting me for it, so. Yeah. But,
That's what you get for putting stuff on the internet.
That's true. That's true.
I grew up there, trust me.
Where's the other story? We got to cover that real quickly.
Which one?
Cremisa is the Florida of Wareham.
I will verify
For
that,
people
yes.
who don't know where Cremisa is or have experienced.
I wish I had pulled the audio from All About Cars. We could have just had Ralph read the story
Yeah.
in
Oh,
his
that
own
story.
Ralph way. Yes.
We should.
Should we do
I'm
it?
gonna get that off the skimmer, and I'm gonna bleep out every time he says the E word.
It's over there if you want it.
I think. All right. Let me see. I'll give it a quick read.
I don't think I could do it with a straight face, so it's all you.
If Ralph didn't get in trouble for reading it, we should be all right, right?
That's right.
All right. He was low on ammo, but she wasn't. A Southfield woman convicted in April of shooting her married lover because he didn't ejaculate enough after coitus has been released from jail pending an appeal of her 10-year sentence. According to the Oakland County Jail, Sadie Bell was released on Thursday after posting a $10,000 cash surety bond pending an appeal of her sentence. She was sentenced on June 26th after being convicted of intent to do great bodily harm plus felony firearm after she wounded Edward Lee, her married boyfriend of 15 years. Basically, what happened, she was upset by Lee's poor performance in the bedroom. She accused him of cheating after noting that he didn't produce much ejaculate after their tryst. She was pretty graphic about why she shot him, Assistant Oakland County Prosecutor Paul Walton said. She was convinced he was having an affair. She reached this conclusion by the fact that he didn't produce enough ejaculate. We're going to set the record. We're going to beat Ralph for the number of times saying that word. So she shot him in the stomach. Lee, 60, spent 5 weeks in the hospital and underwent major surgeries for damage to his pancreas, colon, liver, and kidney. So, it wasn't the first time she picked up a weapon. In 1991, she shot her husband, but the husband refused to cooperate. So, that actually went nowhere. So, there you have it. Doesn't get any weirder than that, right?
I know, she shot somebody else.
Listen, I don't want to get too graphic here and explain to everybody how it works for guys, but it's not like turning on a faucet, you know?
What do you mean? I don't get it.
Sometimes there's less, sometimes there's more.
It's all in the science behind it, right?
Sure.
There's all sorts of factors involved.
Maybe she could have, maybe she brushed her teeth and put on a little perfume, you know?
I'm not touching that one.
That's what she said.
I was going to say, apparently neither is she anymore.
Nope.
All right. Well, that does it for the Week in Weird. If you have a strange story you would like to share with us, just put it up on Twitter. Tweet it to us at SpookySC. You can also email it to us, spookykrew@SpookySouthCoast.com. Maybe if we use it, we can have Andy Lake send you a Spooky South Coast bumper sticker because apparently he has the last of them.
Really?
He put up on Facebook earlier he was handing them out at the Ocean State Paracon.
Oh.
So they're probably gone now.
Maybe.
But he had some. So anybody that wants them, talk to Andy.
I might have a dozen or so of them sitting around my house.
Are they hiding with the banner for our vendor shows?
That's lost.
Long gone.
Somewhere between Florida and here.
Always Florida.
Man, I'm going to have to edit out all those coughs in post. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by tonight's guest, Nicole Stevens. You can check out her website, NicoleStevens.com. You can also check her out on SpookySouthCoast.com as well, linked up right on the front page. We'll be back in just a moment with more Spooky South Coast.
ever thought about saying goodbye to your job? Just walking into your boss and saying, I quit. And how would you like to commute to work without ever leaving your home? Well, not long ago, a 39-year-old entrepreneur from a billionaire family spent $20 million in 3 years to find the best home-based business in North America. He researched 70 different companies, and when he found the only one that had real long-term potential, he bought it. And right now, he's looking for people to help him turn this company into his next billion-dollar success story. So if you're serious about making money from home without having to leave your home, well, grab a pen. Because I'm about to give you the address of a website where you can learn all about this unique and rare opportunity. Write this down, www.goherenext.com. Now get on your computer and go to this site now. Part-time or full-time, your income is based totally on your performance. Interested? GoHereNext.com and say goodbye to your boss tomorrow. GoHereNext.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
On March 3rd last year, Henry W. faced his own death with incredible courage. He wasn't in an accident. He wasn't ill. He wasn't in any danger. But he faced this reality head on. If he died, his wife and children wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage, make the car payments, or keep up the life they'd had. His family would lose everything. So he picked up the phone and called AIG Direct. He found out that through AIG Direct, he could get a $250,000 life insurance policy for less than $14 a month. Now, he knows that he's helped make his family's future secure, no matter what happens to him.
Protecting your family with coverage through AIG Direct is fast, easy, and incredibly affordable. Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-320-8583. That's 1-800-320-8583. 1-800-320-8583.
Welcome back to Spooky South Coast. Tim Weisberg here, along with Stephanie Burke, Matt Costa, and Matt Moniz. And we are very honored to have joining us for the first time ever on the program our guest tonight, Nicole Stevens. You can check out her website, NicoleStevens.com. That's also linked up on the front of SpookySouthCoast.com. And we do want to make it clear, I know that the phone lines are already lighting up here. We have a few calls already online. We're not doing any readings tonight. We're just getting to know Nicole about her work and about her gifts. And if you would like to have a reading with Nicole, you can certainly book one through her website, NicoleStevens.com. That's Nicole with an N-E at the beginning. It's also linked up at SpookySouthCoast.com as well. So just let everybody know that. And now we will welcome her to the program. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, Nicole. How are you? Oh, sorry. There you are. Now you should be with us. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And I apologize for saying good morning. It's just I haven't been in Spooky South Coast mode for a couple of weeks, so it's Saturday morning radio in my head.
That's okay.
So we've wanted to have you on for quite a while now. Of course, we've seen you on Spirit Connections, which is also on Spooky TV at SpookySouthCoast.com. You've been on there with Tiffany Rice a few times, and you guys always seem to have a great time when you're on the program.
We do.
I mean, is it a friendship that's born more from just the personalities of the two of you, more so than you're sharing the same line of work?
Yes. Well, we became friends as colleagues. We started out as colleagues and became friends. Yes, our personalities just go well together.
Now,
we complement each other.
I'm sure, and of course, we don't have to name any names, but being a spirit medium and working in this field, you probably encounter some other people who have similar gifts to yours that, you really can't spend that much time around. There must be some people who, it just becomes, because, we've seen a lot of them. We've had some of them on the show. Some folks who have those gifts, they can't keep a foot in both realms at the same time.
It is hard. I will say that it's very difficult to have one foot in each world, a lot of the time. And, everyone, regardless of what you do for work or, whatever your career is, you're going to have people that you completely are connected to and others that your energy is just out of sync with. I think so it's with any field. And I think I always thought that in this line, I hate to say work, but in this line of work, for lack of a better term, that you would never encounter that, but you do. It kind of gets a little weird sometimes.
That happens right in this room while we're doing the program. So and then with some folks, they are still in that journey of how to figure out how to use their gifts, and I'm sure that there are some who immediately feel compelled to have to try and help others, even before they might not necessarily have a firm grip on what it is that's happening to them. I know you're someone, you started at a very young age realizing that you had this gift.
Right. I was very young, but I didn't embrace it. My grandmother had told me basically that people would think I was a witch. That they would think that I was crazy and to keep it quiet. So I did do that. I was very quiet with it for a very long time. And you kind of push it to the side and you know it's there. And you continue on doing your thing. And as I got older, then I started to embrace it. But it took a long time, and it takes a lot of courage. I was terrified. And my younger son, he opened when he was 4, and he struggles with it. I mean, he's wonderful, but he definitely struggles with it because it's, even though it's more common now, you hear a lot more people speaking about spirituality and about mediums, it's still a little, awkward to be 11 and to tell someone that you're seeing their loved one around them. You're still feeling a little shy about it.
Well, was it something that other people in your family had, or was it you were the first one that had this gift?
No, my grandmother, my dad's mom, and my paternal great-grandmother as well, and they're my great-grandmother's siblings. And actually I have 2 cousins, one first cousin and one second cousin, that they're also open. So it's a family thing.
So at least there was a support system in place to help you be able to deal with what was happening to you.
Yes and no, because yes, they were there, but it was very hush-hush.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really, if you wanted to see my grandmother, or great-grandmother, I should say, you went, it was very, you had to know somebody to get in, basically. So it was just, she did her thing. It was very matter-of-fact. We didn't really talk about it a lot, and it just was what it was. And it's, even in my house, it's very much like that. So I remember somebody asking me, when did you tell your husband? And I said, I never told him. And they said, what do you mean? And I've been with my husband since I was 16. I never told him anything. I just was. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I never just said, hey, this is what's happening or anything. I just was. And my son is the same way. Like, we don't really, not that we don't talk about it, we do. It's just very matter of fact. It kind of is. It's kind of the same as if, anything else in your family, if you played football or something. It's just kind of, or my other son, he's very talented. He's musically inclined, and, he's very, very talented with music. He just is. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And we see a lot of times, or we hear a lot about people who do have these gifts. It comes differently for everybody else. Everybody else kind of taps into it in a different way, and these messages come to them in a different way. But do you find that within the family, are you seeing a lot of the same process in being able to make these connections?
No, actually it's very different for each of us. And I think over time, everyone's gifts change as well. You go through different stages in your life, and it does change. I used to be very, very strong at clairvoyancy, so I could see very, very clearly. And I found that recently my clairaudience is that I've been hearing more than seeing as clearly. Now my son sees differently than I see. So the way I actually will see spirit is just, it's in a different form, so to speak, than my son will. My son sees energy as spirit in a different way, and he sees, it's actually kind of hard to articulate, he sees energy as in colors, whereas I see more like a hologram. So it's not full form, but it's more almost like a negative to a film.
So you're seeing, so you're seeing kind of like, almost like an apparition.
Yeah.
So
and I don't see full-bodied all the time. Usually it's from the waist up, if that makes sense.
So is there a differentiation then in your mind between, when somebody would have a paranormal experience seeing one of these beings and when one is materializing to try and pass on a message to you, or is it kind of all just the same wavelength?
I don't have a lot of experience with paranormal, to be honest with you, as far as I'm really a big chicken. Like, I'm afraid of everything. So
well, that's time.
I would never go into anywhere dark or anything because I'm terrified of it. So I could never do any of that stuff because I know a lot of the times, well, from what Tiffany has told me, that you go at night, right there alone, I'm out of there. Like, I would not get anywhere dark. I still have a nightlight at all times. So I can't really say from my experience if it would be the same. Tiffany would have a better understanding of that than I would because she's experienced both than I would.
It's really no different. We don't usually go at night.
You're here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I know you're on.
Yep, I'm here.
She's here. I just talk all over her, so.
A lot of people, everybody thinks you have to go in the middle of the night to an abandoned house with just a flashlight and scream your head off. That's not really how it works, but I know personally I usually go during the day because I can see where I'm going and I don't trip over things, so it's actually really no different. So we'll have to take you on a field trip.
Okay, so like during the day, I'm fine with that, and as you said, you're not tripping over anything, you kind of know what's there.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And when you see a ghost walk around the corner, you don't scream at the top of your lungs as easily, so...
I don't like to be startled in the dark.
No, neither do I. I still sleep with a Hello Kitty nightlight.
Just to recap, we can take you to the gates of hell as long as we just do it during the day.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, got it.
Totally fine.
I'm fine with it in the night.
Well, it is.
Just not dark.
It is funny though because what would be in the dark and what would scare a lot of people is probably what you're seeing all the time. Is this something that you can be able to kind of shut down and turn off if you don't want to have to deal with it for a while?
Yes, and I've become better at that over the years. I do. When people will ask me how I do this, I just tune it out because I can't walk around like that because it's very difficult, as we were saying before, to walk in two worlds. And if I have a loved one coming up to me, I just immediately want to reach out and I want to help. But I can't always be in that mood. So I just tune it out, I shut off, I kind of shut down, and some get through, but I just keep going. It's almost like you have a crowd walking next to you, but you just keep going. And they're there, they're on the other side of the road or wherever, and they're walking and doing their thing, and you just keep going.
I kind of describe it like the Verizon commercials. The network behind you. Like, I ignore them as best I can. I don't know if you do the same thing, but...
I just wanted to point out, I moved this mat just so I could see you.
Oh, okay.
Just so if you have any questions or anything, I'll know that you can ask a question. I don't want you to think like I'm staring at you longingly.
Yes, he is. Don't let him lie to you.
And that's a good point. You said that to us before about having to kind of almost not turn your back, but almost have to just be like compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it happen though that way? I mean, are they willing to be compartmentalized? Do they understand that you need to have a break once in a while?
I don't have any trouble with it, really. I mean, sometimes I'll have a few children that will come through. Very, very strong children tend to have really, really high energy. And if they're pushing that much, then I will make, I will open for them and I will allow whatever the message is. And I'll write it down if, I don't know where it's going at that moment. I won't approach anyone for the most part. I'm again, shy. So I won't just usually come out and just say, hey, so-and-so is around you. But I'll write it down, I'll hold on to it because I always find that some way they're seeing me, they're connecting with me, and there will be a path that's crossing at some point that they already know about. So something will always happen that they're giving me the message and I'll be in the right spot at the right time when it was supposed to be delivered, if that makes sense, that they know.
No, it definitely makes sense.
I don't want to get random that there's no connection. It always will be that there is a connection somewhere within, usually it's like a week, but there'll be that connection.
What would you have to say is your weirdest connection that you've made?
I'm sorry, I can't really hear you, Steph.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry. What has been the weirdest connection that you've made so far?
Well, I wouldn't really call it weird, but it was different for me, was I thought somebody had passed, and they hadn't yet, but they were going to. And their spirit was already connecting with me. And it actually went on for a few days, and he became stronger and stronger as he was getting close to his actual passing, his physical passing. So for me, it was very, very different. I don't typically connect that strong prior to someone's passing. And had I not known, but I would have thought he already had passed. And he was telling me validating information that I didn't know.
That actually happened.
I am friends with his daughter, and I thought he had passed. And so I was like, oh my goodness. And actually, when he did pass, within minutes, he came immediately to me and had a message. And I was afraid to tell them anything because they were still at the hospital.
Right.
And I felt it was very inappropriate. But he was very, very adamant, and I just trusted it, and I went with it, and I told what he was telling me, and it actually was exactly what his wife needed to hear right at that moment, and it was amazing. So it worked out the way it was supposed to, and I just trusted myself on it. But I was afraid.
Well, we do have a call on the line that's been waiting to speak with you. Excuse me. And I apologize, by the way, if I'm clearing my throat and you happen to hear it. I apologize. It's very rude of me. I try to pull my mic down, but it doesn't always happen. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Nicole Stevens.
Hey, first off, I want to say the show is amazing so far. And I want to say hello to Nicole. This is you, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mainly just wanted to listen, but I'm pretty interested in what you were sharing about it, how people read it differently. Some people can hear, some people see, some people just feel the energy,
Yeah.
Well,
we all have different gifts, so it's it's very similar in its own way to anything else that we do. How we'll have our own style to do things. And my signs and symbols may be different than Stephanie's or Tiffany's, any other mediums. So and my son is very different than I am, and my other son is very different. So we all communicate very, very differently. But it's whatever works for you and what you feel comfortable with.
Mm.
And if you would like to listen,
it definitely makes sense, And as far as it being a family thing, I definitely agree with that.
Mhm. It's hard to tell. I know it is. It's in the genes.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I was just talking about that with my mother earlier today, so it was kind of strange that popped up.
Is she opening?
And I didn't even know you were going to be on here. It's funny how, the last 2 weeks I've been following you without even realizing that I was following you.
I hope I don't have to involve the courts in that at all. But if you do want to listen,
it's not like that, brother.
No, I understand. I'm just teasing. If you do want to listen into the program, then if you have a smartphone, you can listen to the Radio Pup app. That's one way of doing it, or you can view it on Spooky TV at SpookySouthCoast.com as well. That way, we can keep the phone lines clear if anybody calls in.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. All
right, take care.
Have a great night.
And if anybody has any questions for Nicole during the course of the program, 508-996-0500, 877-996-1420 are the numbers. You can also pose them in the chat room on Spooky TV at SpookySouthCoast.com, or you can email them to us, SpookyCrew at SpookySouthCoast.com, or you can send them via Twitter at SpookySC. And I know, Nicole, you're on Twitter as well, right?
Yep.
And that's
my new favorite toy.
That's at Nicole Stevens, and it's N-E for Nicole?
Yep. Yes.
And the best part about Twitter is, if people ask the question in 140 characters or less, boom, you're in, you're out. And I always tell people all the time, don't send me those multiple tweets where the question just keeps going and going. I can't follow that. That's too much work. So we are going to take a break now for the news, and that's going to be about a 6-minute break, but when we come back, we'll jump more into the discussion. You can either hang on the line, Nicole, or we can call you back, whatever works for you. And we'll get more into what it is that you do, and especially want to talk with you about how you can help people in dealing with grief as well. So we'll talk about all that coming up in the next hour.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
We'll talk in a bit. And just want to remind everybody, while we are discussing with Nicole, if you would like to go to her website, NicoleStevens.com, it's linked up right on the front page of SpookySouthCoast.com. You can find out about all of her services that she offers. As we mentioned at the beginning of the discussion, we're not going to be doing readings tonight. I know that when people hear that there's a spirit medium on the show, especially now that there's one here permanently, people assume that means that there's going to be readings, but we're just taking the time to get to know Nicole. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Spooky South.
Local news, talk, and sports. The South Coast turns to AM 1420 WBSM New Bedford and WBSM.com. From ABC News, I'm Chuck Stevenson.